Welcome to the second video tutorial for SymMorphy, a new plugin. Alright, this time I'm going to show you how to do the Poser export and the results of that process. So we're going to start with a morph. Everything is already set up and we need to actually make the change. So I'm going to go to the front camera. We're going to make a change on the head again. We're going to give him a smile. So we're going to go to point mode, mesh transform tools magnet, and set the radius to 10 just to reduce the range of the effect, and go ahead and give him a bit of a smile here. You can see the resulting changes. Right, next we're going to actually do the symmetric morph. Everything else is set up. The plane is set up correctly. Default values will work with most human figures. We're going to create the morph changes, and now it's been mirrored to the other side. Right, the next step in this process is to export the files for use in Poser. And notice that now this button is actually enabled. We can open up the dialog that will let us do the Poser export. Alright, since Poser uses figures which have body parts, these body parts are denoted by groups of polygons and points. In our case, if you're using Riptide or Riptide Pro, you will have to enable import groups, which will create a set of polygon selection tags which represent those body parts. If you're using Poser Pro, it automatically creates a set of point selection tags representing the same thing. So we need to select, drag and drop all those tags into this area here so that we know which points and polygons represent these Poser body parts. So I'm going to go over to the Object Manager, scroll over to these selection tags. So these are the group selection tags that Riptide imported. I'm going to select them, and we're going to put them all in so that we have all of them, and it can be used for later morphs, so you will always have these body parts registered. I'm going to drag and drop them into this box, and notice the first thing it does is it will display the body parts that were affected by the morph changes. And it also notice that in order to make this more expedient, it creates a set of point selection tags that represent the body parts, since we are modifying points, not really polygons. Alright, now we're going to make a combined morph, since we want the smile to be one morph, not two separate ones for each side. The import scale is the scale you use to import the geometry, the mesh. With Riptide Pro, this would be the mesh scaling. In Poser Pro, it would be the import scale on the import preferences. We're going to give it a name that represents it, so we'll call this Smile 1. It's using a internal name that is part of the Daz 3D morph injection system. So they pioneered this system in allowing pose files to inject a morph dial into a figure file which has these standard dials preset in the file. So we're going to use this. If you want to use other dials, you can. Just make sure the dial exists in the figure, and at some point SymMorphy should be able to be updated to allow insertion of the dial directly into the CR2 Poser figure file. Alright, next thing we want to do is select a folder where we want to save these two pose files. We're going to go to the actual Poser runtime, which is the Poser 6 runtime. We're going to go to the libraries, and we're going to go to Pose, Daz, and Michael 4. Alright, so we'll put it right into his Michael 4's Pose folder, so it's going to be able to be used directly inside of Poser or Daz Studio. Alright, in this case, we look at these body parts. We might not want to use them all. I'm going to omit changes to the lower and upper jaw and only use the eyes and head. Only thing that needs to be done now is export files, and I'll let you know if they've been saved successfully. And they should be there. Close this. Now we're going to leave this Cinema 4D for a second. Go see if the files exist. Go to here. Go to my documents. Poser 6. Runtime libraries. Pose. Daz. And then Michael 4. And there they are. So we have an injection, smile 1, and a remove smile 1. These files are now ready to use. They do not have icons. And again, I may set this up so that it will create the icons in Cinema 4D, or you can create your own after the fact. Alright, that concludes this video.